Welcome to Two Wheels and Tannerite. I wanted to do a follow-up video of this Bontrager mobile Allen kit. So one of the things I actually reached out to Bontrager to find out to get a little bit more specifics. In my initial unboxing, I didn't really know anything about this tool or how it worked or where it came from or anything like that. So I basically contacted Trek, who's arguably Bontrager, and got a little bit more information. I've really come to the conclusion that this is a fantastic tool set, but I've come to the realization that it's really optimized for home use. It's not something that I would ever take out on a ride or anything like that. And the other thing that I also wanted to unpack and explain a little bit more because I was really surprised when I found this out, was the way the torque portion works is not at all what I originally thought. So apparently this has a titanium spring in it, and so as you turn this and it flexes, it only shows you what your torque numbers are. It doesn't actually click or make any noises like a traditional torque system does. So when you put it, I just realized I think I grabbed the wrong bit size, yeah. When you put it on whatever it is that you're tightening down, there's no click, there's no beep, there's no buzz, there's nothing like that. All that happens is the spring will move to whatever pressure you're putting on it. I'm of the opinion that if you're out riding or on a trail, something like this, the toe peak ratcheting system with the tucked away bits are a better option. Not only is it cheaper, but in my opinion, when you're out on the trail or you're out on the road, your main concern isn't whether or not you're in tolerance. Your main concern is whether or not you can get home. And while being in that torque sphere, that window of tolerance is great, sometimes it doesn't always work in a real-world application. I frequently tell people that just because of the fact that you use a torque wrench and you get it to where you want it, that doesn't necessarily mean that the part that you're trying to tighten down is actually locked in place. You know, when you're working on something, there's other factors at play. So just because you followed what the OEM recommendation of torque level is, doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually going to stay put. So the way this works, so I'm using my Orbea bars and stem here to give you an idea. The way this works is, depending upon whatever the tightness is, so we got 6 Newton meter enunciation. What is my problem? 6 Newton meters max tightness. So you find your 6 on your gauge, you put it on there, and then you tighten until it flexes to 6, and then you call it good. There's no click. There's no audio or physical beep or anything like that tells you whether or not you're in the arena that you're shooting for. So again, it's a super cool tool. I'm really grateful to have it. I'm really happy to have it. But in my sincere opinion, it's not really the kind of thing that you'd want to drag on a trail, unless if you like carrying enough stuff to rebuild a whole bike, which isn't my cup of tea. I want to be fairly well prepared, but I don't necessarily need to have everything. The other thing I also wanted to mention too is you can get something like the Bontrager Assembly Lube, which is a slightly more viscous lube, or you can get the Finish Line Wet Chain Lube, and you want to lubricate this. Because the reason being is the poles that are usually in these things are usually just built or assembled with just enough grease to make sure that they last for just the first little bit for storage and transport and stuff like that. but it's not uncommon after something has been assembled and manufactured for it to sit on a shelf for several months, and then sit on a boat for several months, and then be transported to whatever store for another period of time. And so one of the things that we've found, and this also includes hydraulic disc brakes, even if it's brand new out of a box, it's still in your best bet to lubricate it. So that's why I take those everything that I get, I re-lubricate and make sure that it's properly set up. So anyway, the long and the short of it is, if you need something like this for your home because you need a torque wrench and you want a fair amount of options, totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. Oh, and by the way, even Bontrager told me, or Trek told me, that this is actually made by Silka. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. They actually made it for Bontrager, which I thought was kind of cool. So this kit is the identical kit to what you would get if you were to buy it from them. But yeah, it's really great. I really don't have any complaints. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to just make sure that I followed through with this merely because of the fact that several people have pointed out its best use situation. Okay, there is one weird thing. I will talk about this. I always forget that this is connected to it. So it's another extension. The magnet doesn't always hold it in place. So you have to be careful of how you put it in here. Oh, sorry, I apologize. I thought I'd move my camera. Let me pan down a bit more. I got a hold of one of these Shimano GRX mats to shoot stuff. I think I need to find a top-down camera angle. Oh, that's a little bit better. Anyway, yeah, so it's really great, but it's really optimally for home use. But it's pretty darn handy, to be honest with you. If you use tools like this a lot, I would actually really recommend buying the Bontrager, or I'm sorry, one more time, Eric. Buying the Pedros Extension that they make. Pedro makes a special toolkit that's specifically for this size of tools. And it's really fantastic because the Pedros one has not only hardened tool steel bits, but it gives you a substantially larger range. I think even up to an 8mm. I actually use it at the shop all the time. So that's about it. Again, if you're traveling, one of these toe peak ones would be way better. It's the same basic idea, but it doesn't have the ratchet. Oh, this one I've lubricated. You can hear the difference. So that's pretty much about it. But again, I wanted to make a follow-up so everybody knew what my thoughts were. It's really great. Not great for taking on the trail, though, or riding and stuff like that. So thank you, and I really appreciate your viewership. If you get an opportunity, like, subscribe, comments, positive comments preferred. If there's any suggestions you have in terms of like stuff that you want to learn how to repair, tips and tricks, there's literally nothing I don't know how to do, with the possible exception of like repairing carbon frames and stuff like that. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna try to slap this out so I can get a couple of videos out today, and then my goal is to do a minimum of one video a week. Yeah, let's see if we can do this. I appreciate it. I need to hydrate too. I need more water. Thanks. See ya.